So welcome along to A Story to Tell with me, Richard Beauvoisin. This is mainly taken from my Radio Bath show every Thursday morning from 10 until 12. If you do like it, don't forget to subscribe, share it to others and let everyone know all about Radio Bath. Hope you enjoy it. Now, I had the choice of which song to play, because you may or may not know this, but I get to choose the songs. And I thought I could have a really dull song to start with, but there's nothing like Ain't No Party Like an S-Club Party. Yeah. That's what I was thinking anyway, just to kind of cheer up. It's been pretty depressing lately, hasn't it? The weather's been rubbish, it's been raining, it's been all of this horrible stuff. So I thought, let's play S-Club Party by S-Club 7. I don't know when that was. Normally it has a year for me, but on this occasion it doesn't. Which, I'll be honest with you, is one of the most boring things I could possibly talk about. Anyway, my name's Richard Beauvoisin. If you haven't listened before, it's Radio Bath. Welcome along. So this week is all about, on A Story to Tell, gardening time. The lovely Laura sat opposite me now, flicking through her magazine, which is all lovely and good. And we're going to be talking about autumn-winter gardening. And it's all about your questions. We've got a number of things we'll chat about anyway, but if you do have any questions about what to do with your garden over the next couple of months, then now is the time to ask our expert gardener, Laura. Okay. If you do want to email, then you can email studio@radiobath.com, or you can text Bath followed by a message to 80011. Laura's coming up right after this. I've always wanted to hit that end note, but never quite made it. Can you not hear us, Laura? Oh, try the plug at the bottom. See if you've unplugged yourself. Good morning, everybody, by the way. Laura's just trying to figure out why she can't hear us in any way, shape or form. Maybe just take the headphones off for now. There we go. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now. That's good.
You were muffled before.
Was I? Okay. I don't know why. But everything's working fine before.
Noise-cancelling headphones, you see.
They are definitely, as we discussed last week, 1970s headphones.
Yeah.
But they still work, and they're still pretty good.
Not today, they don't.
No, not today. We'll try and fix it in the break.
Yeah.
How about that? Anyway, our first link today, we're not going to talk much about gardening, are we? Because we're going to discuss, actually, strangely, a little bit of mental health.
Mental health and injury.
Mental health, injuries, and also kind of what my week's been over the last weeks. It's been kind of slightly strange, if I'm honest with you. So I'm going to talk very quickly about what I've had over the last week. Okay, so last Thursday I came in here and I interviewed Lucia Chatwick. Right. And she is the CEO of Focus Counselling, and there was a charity auction, on Saturday night, which I wasn't going to be able to do. I double booked myself. I spoke about the fact that I thought of Lucia whilst naked in a hot tub. I know, not in that way, but just realising I double booked myself.
You were, or she was?
What, she was naked in the hot tub?
No, is that what you were thinking?
No, I was naked in the hot tub when I realised that I'm so sorry for that image now of when anybody sees a hot tub, they come around to my studio knowing that sometimes, not always, but sometimes I am naked in the hot tub. Yeah, it's a hot tub. It's your own private garden. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. Until you get a private dance lesson come through.
I'm normally fairly certain at 8 or 9 o'clock.
Do you have a lock on your gate?
Yeah, we do have a lock on our gate, yes.
You're fine.
Yeah, we are fine, but you could climb over. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, I'd realised that I'd double booked myself. Anyway, last Thursday, some people may realise that I'd hurt my shoulder the night before, really quite badly, and therefore I was quite kind of, let's just say I'd had a few drugs to cope with the fact that I was in quite a lot of pain. But it did mean that I then couldn't do the dance weekender, which I was absolutely gutted about doing. But it did mean that I could then go and do the charity auctioneering. Because I only had to hold a clipboard in my left hand, but I couldn't actually raise my hand at all. But and we raised £3,500 for the charity, which I was really delighted about. Excellent. Everybody was very generous, and it was a fantastic night. Really pleased for the charity, and it went really, really well. So I was very pleased. Focus Counselling, if anybody needs counselling, they run in Bath, Frome and Wells, and you can't afford it, then you can go along and get counselling, and that's what kind of the purpose of doing it. So we now know that there's £3,500 worth of people that can get counselling, which I'm very pleased about. So that was it was a bit of a strange one though, because I'd kind of built myself up to doing a showcase and teaching and dancing weekend, and then I effectively most of the weekend just sat on the sofa in a sling. which was slightly different.
Yeah.
So that didn't help my mental health, if I'm honest with you, particularly.
No.
Now,
I must admit, I'm still suffering now.
Well, last time you were in here, you were proper suffering. It took you half an hour to get into the car.
I was proper suffering in the car on the way in, wasn't I?
Yeah, it was really, really struggle for you. And, you do seem in a slightly better place physically now. But tell us about kind of what's been happening to you.
Well, after numerous chiropractor, physiotherapy appointments, I'm sort of still none the wiser as to what my injury is. It could be back related, as in disc related. It could be SI joint related. It could be hip related. All I know is that I get cramping in the muscles, glute muscles, and then in my calf muscles. And I've got sort of quite chronic sciatica down my right leg. But the good news is I finally have an assessment with the NHS Orthopaedic Centre.
Okay.
So that's good news. And hopefully that will then lead to an MRI, which will give me some clarity as to what's going on, because obviously it's hindering work.
Yeah.
I've been unable to work. And when I have, it's sort of a maximum of sort of 2 hours just sort of titivating. But the good side, the light at the end of the tunnel on that, is meant that I've been able to concentrate on more jobs which have been consultancy, so garden consultancy, and some new border designs.
Okay.
So I've recently done a new build garden where I've been able to go talk to the clients, which I love doing, finding out their wants, don't wants, dislikes, etc., and then creating a garden for them, and then somebody else comes in and does the labour.
Yeah.
I just get to choose all the plants for them, so right plant, right place, and it just seeing how happy that makes somebody is really great. So I've been able to concentrate on that, and I think should this continue, that's probably where I'm going to take my career path more down that route.
So if somebody did want to contact you to say, I'd like some gardening consultancy, please.
Yes.
How could they do that, Laura?
They can contact me on my mobile or on email. So I'm on Google Business, Better Borders Wiltshire, and I'm also on Facebook.
Okay. Under Better Borders Wiltshire.
Better Borders Wiltshire.
And your name is Laura Scott.
Yes.
Don't know why I've turned into radio DJ voice.
You have. You've gone all pro.
I have. I don't know why,
No,
generally.
no.
I'm going to go back to my...
All right.
Do you know what? I wrote a little bit in my book yesterday. I can't believe how 6 minutes in and I'm already talking
already
about my
plugging the book.
Already plugging the book. Can't believe it. It's coming out next year. Definitely will come out next year. But yeah, there's a bit in there which I ended up speaking in a primary school teacher voice, which I have no idea why I went down that route. But it was quite comedic. And I thought it was quite amusing. But I was talking about Joe Bloggs.
Okay.
Whoever Joe Bloggs may be.
Yeah.
And then it was
He's
kind
a
of
very
like
famous guy.
he is. And then the basic bit in the book was, I wonder if there is somebody actually called Joe Bloggs.
There is.
And then
there must be.
somebody called Joe Bloggs. And then when they say, what's
My
your
name's
name?
Joe
My
Bloggs.
name's Joe Bloggs. They go, yeah, okay, Paul the other one. What's your real name? No, it is Joe Bloggs. But I need to look that up, actually. Talking about looking things up, S Club 7, it was 1999. There we go. Because I know you were just hanging on to knowing
the date, yeah.
when S Club Party were S Club 7.
Back 1999.
What were you doing in 1999?
That was when I started my travelling.
Okay.
I headed off into not quite the bright lights, big city. I went the other way. I went off via the South Pacific and then on to Australia. So, yeah.
Australia?
Yeah.
When
most people go, really, isn't it?
It's not a bad
It's a
place.
big thing when you're, 20. And so...
I've not been to Australia. I'm very, very jealous. So Andrea, one of our co-friends.
Yeah.
I don't know why I say co-friends. We could just say friends, couldn't we?
Yeah.
But co-people, I don't know. Co-workers, I think, is where I was going with it. But she's not really a co-worker. Anyway, Andrea, she's a big cricket fan, as am I, and she's just landed in Australia.
Wow.
And she's going to be watching the first test between England and Australia, or Australia and England, in the Ashes.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put Andrea and cricket together.
Oh man, she's a big cricket badger.
Is she?
Yeah. We have a
Oh.
lot. When she comes around for her lessons, we spend at least 20 minutes of it chatting about
Talking
cricket.
cricket.
Yeah, we do, because we're one of the few people that realise we're happy to talk about cricket to each other.
Yeah.
Because we don't get many people that like
No,
it.
I'm not going to imagine.
Yeah. Do you know, I do the show once a year where I have my neighbour come in who's an umpire, and we do cricketing for one show a year. I allow myself this one show, and we do different formats, different bits and pieces. Anyway, I had a message from somebody in San Francisco saying they loved that podcast. Excellent. And they were the CEO of a Bitcoin company. I thought they were spam. But they've actually emailed me twice in a separate way, and it's not AI. It's not spam. And they the reason they loved listening to my show is because of the cricket show that I do. And they're from San Francisco and a CEO of a £1.8 billion Bitcoin company.
You've gone worldwide, you see.
That's it.
You've gone viral.
People are now listening to this in a strange sort of way. In fact, when Ben was on recently, again, another co-friend of ours, I'm going to use that phrase, who's injured as well. We're all injured. We had somebody listening in New Zealand, and they messaged in because they were waiting for a flight. So they were listening in. Anyway,
that's excellent.
So going back to yourself very quickly.
Yeah.
Now, you've been injured for some time now. How is it affecting you mentally then?
Oh, I feel quite low.
Yeah.
So and we were talking about the dancing coming in, and I could be coming on a Monday night and sitting on the side, but it sort of affected me sort of socially. I just want to sit away. I mean, even now, I sort of feel like our conversation is quite subdued. I just want quiet, and I'm sort of finding it difficult to... I mean, I still can have a conversation with people, but the thought of coming on a Monday with the noise and all the people, and I suppose everybody asking, oh, how are you?
Yeah.
A bit like the birthday thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I suppose maybe I've been sort of avoiding those social meetings. And also we had the taxi training the other week. And I sort of went...
For those that don't understand, taxi training is the people that help out the experienced dancers, that help the beginners out, and I run crew training sessions a few times a year.
Yeah, so we had that, and I came away sort of feeling quite deflated because I hadn't been dancing for so long. I felt like I'd lost some confidence, and I even my brain hadn't sort of connected with the terminology that you were using in the training. So yeah, I sort of just feel a bit meh.
Bit blur. And certainly with the the nights coming in now as well.
Dark nights, days are shorter. And I mean, it's been so grey the past 10 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I love autumn. I really do. But you get days like this and it just lifts your spirits again. The autumn colours this year have been amazing because of the summer that we've had.
Yeah.
So, but just the greyness and the dark nights. I suppose the only thing that's sort of getting me through at the moment, because I love Christmas.
Okay.
Not in the sense of I don't like the material side of it now. For me, it's about family, friends, nice food, some drinks, nice movie, that sort of thing. The simple things.
Yeah.
I don't want big presents. I don't think that people should get into debt because of Christmas, because that's not what Christmas is all about. So for me, the light at the end of the tunnel is that I'm hoping we're going to get some nice, bright, frosty days, and a proper winter this year would be nice.
That would be lovely.
And
wouldn't
Christmas
it?
lights. Christmas lights always cheer things
Talking
up.
about Christmas lights, I don't need to play some music in a minute, but talking about Christmas lights...
you haven't got yours up yet, have you?
I haven't got mine up,
Oh,
no.
good,
But
good.
Bradford-on-Avon, they've got their Christmas light switch on. I think it's on the 28th, I want to say, which is in 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
Certain man is going to be emceeing that one. That is me.
I wonder who that is.
I know. So I'll be doing the countdown for the Christmas lights turn on. So yeah, that'll be fun.
Excellent.
Introducing all the bands. So do come along to that. It's all free of charge to come along. So do come along. Yeah, there's loads of nice bands on. Last year I was meant to do it as well, but unfortunately, slight amount of flooding taking place, and we're still not back at our Bradford-on-Avon venue.
We're still not back at St.
some point we will be. Anyway, today is going to be about gardening. Thank you for that, Laura. I want to chat very briefly about it because, people come on the radio and everything's happy and everything's great, but sometimes it's not.
No.
And that's okay. No. And I think for everybody to realise that...
Everybody's got something going on in their life which, whilst you might go to work and you leave your problems at home, some people can do that, some people can't. Sometimes it gets you down. And I think it's my injury that's just sort of getting me down at the moment. I can't do the things that I want to be doing. It's just sort of made me feel for want of a better word, old.
Okay. Old before our time.
Yeah, and I don't want to feel like this.
And you're
I
only
don't,
21 as well.
I know. I'm looking good for my age.
You are. You had a very hard paper.
But I don't want to be taking the tablets either. I've had... my whole thing was I was turning 50 this year and I wanted 50 and healthy. So I've been doing a whole... I've been listening to your nutritionist that you've had on and various other podcasts about eating well and eating whole foods and supplements, that sort of thing. And then you get hit with something like this and you're taking cocodamol, you're taking naproxen, and I'm just thinking, what on earth is that doing to my gut microbiome? So, yeah, that's a bit depressing that I was on this sort of upward...
But we'll get there.
Yes.
We will all get there.
Yeah.
Right, next section is all about gardening. So if you do have any gardening issues that you'd like to chat to Laura about, or text her on Bath, followed by a message to 80011, or email studio@radiobath.com. We're going to be talking all about gardening until 12 today. Back with Laura right after this.
We'll be together again.
Good morning, it's Richard Beauvoisin here, right until midday today with Laura Scott, who's my resident expert gardener mate. Do you know what? I was listening back to, because I always do the editing on the podcasts.
Yeah.
And I was listening back to last week's one, which was really good fun. Do listen back. If you want to listen back to any podcast, then you can type in Radio Bath to any podcast provider, and it comes up a story to tell, which is all good. You can go back on all of your ones as well. They've all been on there if you want gardening advice from over the years. But I realised I chatted about one of the adverts.
All right.
Which, when you're listening live, makes absolute sense. When on the podcast I've chopped out all the adverts, though, made absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Especially when you start talking about them.
I was chatting about the advert going, wow, there you go. And I can't remember what the advert was, but there we go. Right, so we're going to be talking all about gardening today. Any questions, email studio@radiobath.com or text Bath followed by a message to 80011. And we're starting off. Now, we have issues, Laura, don't we? Let's face it.
Well, you do. I don't.
We both have issues with innuendo bingo. Okay?
Oh, yes.
Now, we've done none of this so far, which is good. Okay, we're half an hour into the show. We've not actually spoken about gardening yet. But there we go. And I'm going to try not today to do any innuendo bingo, okay? But let's just see how it goes. Let's start off with bare root season then. What does bare root season mean?
What is a bare root?
What is a bare root?
What is a bare root? Right. So, bare root season. Get a day like today. You can get out in your garden and prepare, even still plant. The soil's still warm. It's moist as well with the rains that we've had. But the reason you go bare root is where plants they're going dormant now. So obviously the trees are losing their leaves, perennials are going over, and you can lift plants and send them out in the post with no soil on them because they've gone dormant, which means they are cheaper. They don't have the packaging that you would need if you buy a potted plant, and they don't need as much looking after because most of the nurseries have them planted in open soil. So they're getting their own nutrients from the soil. They don't have to be fed by somebody if they're in a pot. So basically they're cheaper. To the extent of if you were looking to buy a small tree, which you might pay £80 to £100 for in a pot, at this time of year, you can probably get it for about £48, £50. So sort of you're looking at half the price. Bare root, you can get bare root trees. You can get...
Sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but your lovely... other Rich.
Yes.
He's already on innuendo bingo, apparently.
Oh, okay.
So apparently we've already started.
What have I said?
Warm and moist out in the garden.
Oh.
There we go. Moving on.
Well, yes, and then that's when your fungi appears. But we'll move on to that in the next segment. Anyway, so, yes. Now look, I've lost my thread now.
You're talking about
bare
getting
root.
Bare
What can you
roots.
get as bare root?
So I'm just sorry. I'm going to be slightly stupid as I always am. And
No,
what I
it's
love
not
about
stupid.
this show, particularly 4 times a year, I realise that I know absolutely nothing. So for every other guest, I research dramatically and I go through every bit that I'm going to do. And for yourself, as you know, I just turn up and read what you've sent me because you're the expert in this. And yeah, I realise I know nothing about gardening whatsoever. So did you say that you can package it up in the post?
Yeah.
But this isn't you sending out your plants to somebody in the post.
No. So,
No.
for example, if you were to order online,
Right.
so bare root you can get at this time of year, trees that have gone dormant, hedging. So if you were looking to put a new hedge in your garden, you can get, you can do a whole new hedge for literally half or quarter of the price
Okay.
than if you were to buy everything potted back in the summer. Planting at this time of year means less work as well, less watering. But so I've just had some bare root roses arrive for a client, and it is a stick with some roots on the end,
Okay.
turned up in an envelope.
So just post
Plastic
this through your
bag.
letterbox.
Yep, pretty much. So there's no soil, nothing, but they're dormant, so they don't need any moisture, oxygen,
Okay.
nutrients at the moment. And obviously, because the transportation, packaging is smaller, it's cheaper as well. And because they're grown in open soil, like I said, the roots are stronger and more resilient. They're more established. So going back to, you can get trees, you can get hedging plants, you can get roses. Roses is sort of the main thing for bare roots. Fruit trees, even perennials. So you can order perennials now, which have gone dormant, and they will send you out a sort of a clump that's been divided with roots on, not hardly any soil.
And just for those that haven't listened to our show before, obviously I know because I'm such a gardening expert. What is a perennial?
A perennial is a plant that will come back year after year. It dies down in the winter,
Okay.
but will reshoot again with new leaves, fresh foliage in the spring.
Now, in my head, there's a reel that I'm watching at the moment, which I find really amusing on Facebook, which is Yorkshire News, okay, which you may not have seen, okay. I find it hilarious. Basically, there's normally a good-looking person presenting the news effectively, and they're kind of doing bonfire night or whatever it may be. It's meant to be a serious newscast, but people in the background are getting blown up and that type of thing. One of the things they did on there was every drivers.
Right.
And they were saying, what do you think about being an every driver? And they're going, it's great, I can just chuck it in and all of this stuff. And it's like just a Mickey take, basically. Now, in my head now, I'm thinking about having a tree delivered by every.
Right.
And that it might not go to plan because a tree, I'm guessing, is quite big. And how are they posting that through your letterbox type thing?
Well, when I say posting it through your letterbox, as in a normal parcel,
Right.
if you would have a parcel delivered,
Okay.
they may leave it in your porch.
Yeah. Or just leave
by your front door.
and just ring the bell and run away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But a tree is quite big, but they'd still deliver that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
Yeah, I've had trees delivered by Irvie before.
okay, you look mighty confused, and it's a fair thing to be confused right now.
Why would you not?
I don't know. I'm thinking of size. In my head, I'm thinking of a tree being like 20 foot tall, I suppose. So
no.
we're talking smaller trees.
About 1.5 meters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And for example, some of the roses that you have delivered, even though they're tall, they do come in boxed. So
Okay.
a lot of companies now like to send out, rather than in plastic bags, they send out a box which you can then put in your compost.
Of course. Fabulous. Right. So let's assume that our bare root has turned up.
Your bare root has turned up, and what are you going to do with it? Because it's going to
do you
look
know
like
what?
a
That's the
dead
question.
stick.
That's the question I was thinking, Laura. Now, I obviously know the answer because I am an expert in gardening, as we've discussed.
Yep.
But maybe just for everybody else's sake, maybe you could explain it to them.
Okay, so when your stick turns up, don't be fearful. It will look really insignificant. And I suppose that's the difference between buying a potted plant that is in the summer, full in leaf and potentially with flowers, and then buying something that's gone dormant. It will look like a dead stick and you think, what on earth have I bought
I'm
here?
so sorry. I'm still at the when your stick turns up, it will look really insignificant.
It will.
And innuendo bingo is just sounding terrible all of a sudden. Do you know what? You've made me happy today.
Oh, good.
You really have made me happy. I think we're both making each other happy in a strange sort of way.
Well,
Being
you know,
on the radio,
I love talking gardening.
it's great. We've barely spoken. We're 40 minutes in. We've barely spoken about anything to do with gardening yet, but it's making me happy.
Yeah.
So that's all good. Anyway, please
Right.
carry on.
Focus. Okay.
Yes, focus, Richard.
Right.
Focus.
When you receive your bare root stick and you unpackage it, you need to place your stick, the roots. So, like I said, I've just had some roses arrive for a client. You place those in a bucket of water and rehydrate the roots for a couple of hours. And it's good to have the planting hole pre-prepared. So if you are planting in a border or in a pot, make sure you've got the right soil, compost. And if you're planting in the ground, obviously make sure you remove any weeds, any large stones, and break up the soil, especially after this summer. And dig a hole that's about twice the area of the root system that you've received, and deep enough to plant up to the soil mark. So when you get your stick, your plant, which is bare root, you will see a mark on the stem where it's obviously been planted either in open soil previously or where it's been dug up. So plant to that level. And basically, if it's a tree, just make sure you put a stake the tree, especially going into the winter with winter winds. Otherwise, you will get root rot, and the roots won't get down into the soil and start to establish.
Sorry, again.
Have you had another one? Is he causing trouble?
He's not causing trouble, but he's just made a statement, which. So again, we're just on innuendo. I'm listening to everything you're saying regarding the gardening. Of course, I am. But he's just said, if she says, make sure the hole is ready for the stick, I will die laughing. and I agree with that. So yeah, is the hole ready for the stick, Laura?
Where I'm going this afternoon, it isn't now.
Wow.
Unless he's pulling his finger out and he's at the job already. He's obviously not. He's obviously at home.
He's obviously not working right now, is he? Right, we're going to have a little break for music. And back, Laura. Any questions which we'll get through?
Even about your sticks? Even
about your sticks or your holes or pulling your finger out, then email studio@radiobath.com. Back very shortly.
Something's got a hold on me lately, though I don't know myself anymore. Feels like the walls are all closing in, and the devil's knocking at my door. Whoa, out of my mind, how many times did I tell you I'm no good at being alone? Yeah, it's taking a toll on me, trying my best to keep from tearing the skin off my bones. Don't you know I lose control?
So I've had a message from my producer saying we've done too many innuendos already and therefore we must do more of them.
Oh, good.
Anyway, we're back with Laura. If you missed the early parts, you can catch up on the podcast, which type in Radio Bath, any podcast provider, and this will come up later on, hopefully this evening for you. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about orchids. Now, this is a running thing with you. So last December, for your Christmas present, I did hear that sigh. So I bought you an orchid.
You did?
Okay, because you don't do indoor plants, do you?
I do not.
Okay, so I bought you an orchid, which is an indoor plant. How is your orchid?
It's alive.
Okay, that's good.
It has lost its flowers.
That's okay.
But it's got new leaf.
Yeah.
And it's got new roots.
Excellent.
So I'm thinking it possibly might need repotting next year.
Oh, okay.
So
I've repotted all of my orchids.
now, do you use orchid compost?
Sure. I don't know. Possibly, I might have done. Yeah, actually, that does ring a bell. I did do that with the little bits of wood or whatever it is in there as well. Yes, that's all in there.
Yeah.
No, all four of mine are actually very happy at the moment.
Excellent.
None of them at the moment have got any flowers, though.
Do you know what I don't get, though?
Oh, what don't you get?
So they always plant them in clear plastic pots.
They do.
And then they sell you a ceramic decorative pot to stand your plastic pot in. So the whole point of the clear plastic pot is to allow light to the roots.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Because they grow naturally on bark of trees.
Right.
With their roots exposed.
Okay.
And then we Brits go and stick them in a ceramic pot where they don't see any light.
Okay. Which doesn't make much sense.
I always find that a bit bizarre. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have mine in a decorative pot.
Yeah.
Because that's what it came with.
So it shouldn't go in the pot direct, should it? Is that correct?
No.
So it needs to go in the plastic?
It needs to stay in a plastic pot because it needs to be very free draining.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I've been using rainwater to water mine with, rather than tap water. Maybe that's why it's putting on a lot of green growth.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you. Okay, so all 4 of mine are currently now in the growth period. So they've grown new leaves, fantastic, and they're now all growing stems. I've got 4 of them in total, all sat on the windowsill, and they're all now growing the lovely stems. Now,
so have you cut your old stems down, or are you letting them shoot from an old stem?
Both. So I've got one that's crazy.
Right.
And that's got, and I don't quite know how I'm going to manage it because it died off, and then at the end, I've never had this before, at the ends of one of the long stems, new growth is coming out, new flowers are coming out, but they're kind of hanging over almost the edge of the work surface. It's got that big. Don't quite know how to deal with that. And that's fine. I do cut the other ones back, which is equally okay. The bit I've done is that, you need to attach them to a stake so they grow up.
Yeah.
Now, on 2 of mine, I may have snapped off the tops of my orchid plants.
Okay.
And they don't look that happy now. I don't know if they're going to grow back from what I've done. So have I killed my orchids? Is my question to you, Laura. I know. I think they'll be okay.
I mean, they're pretty hardy, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, I know of someone who has fished them out of a bin before, where the flowers have gone over because they've bought them for decorative, or they've had them for Christmas from someone, and because the flowers have gone over and maybe some of the leaves have gone a bit yellow, they've put them in the bin. And I know someone that's done a bit of a dumpster dive and resurrected them.
Correctly so as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's a living thing, isn't it?
It is. So, well, let's hope it's okay. But my treatment of my orchids is very, very random. So I just occasionally put a bit of water in them. Yeah. That's it. I don't do anything else. I might feed them on the odd occasion as well.
I've probably not watered mine for at least 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, I do it.
And the last time I dunked them in some rainwater and then let them drain. In fact, they had a little holiday outside.
Okay, didn't they?
Back in the summer when it was hot. But yeah, they're back in my lounge now, and lots of new growth coming from the base, but all the flowers have gone over.
Now, I know you don't like getting presents for Christmas, as you've just stated, but do you know what would be a really great present for you from me?
Not another orchid.
Another orchid. Now, we've had a question in from Dot, the wonderful Dot. She says, I've been gifted a fig tree, still a small plant.
That's nice.
What is the best way to bring it through winter? It is small enough to move indoors if needs be.
Yes.
Love to you both. Thank you, Dot. Good morning.
Hi, Dot. Yes, if it's small enough to bring inside into an unheated greenhouse, shed, or even into a porch, I would do that if it's still small. If you have to leave it outside, if you've planted it into a sort of a big ceramic pot, arm yourself with some bubble wrap or horticultural fleece, just to give it some protection from the winter frosts, because basically the little tiny fruitlets that are in production now, if they get a frost and they get frosted, they will fall off and you won't have any fruits next year. So yes, definitely try and overwinter it, but still keep the compost, I'm going to say it, keep it moist.
Keep it moist. Absolutely. You should definitely keep things moist.
Yes.
Good. Now, you said to me as we came in, I must talk about this as a mast year.
Yes.
And I went, sure. And I don't know what a mast year is. So please tell me in approximately 2 minutes and 52 seconds what a mast year is.
It's a natural phenomenon that happens every 4 or 5 years, helped on by this year's summer, the amazing summer that we've had. So as if you've been out and about, you've been walking the dog, etc., you've probably noticed that there are hundreds of sloes, hawthorns, crab apples, holly berries, rose hips, beech nuts, conkers, etc. It's basically what they class as nature's mast year. So it's a year where all of the trees fruit and berry all at the same time, and possibly because of the summer that we've had, it's been especially good this year. So it's the same species, they synchronise to produce a massive crop of seeds and nuts and fruits, and it only happens every few years, and it requires a lot of energy for the plants to do this. But it's a synchronisation that's coordinated apparently through fungal networks and chemical signals in the ground. So yeah, it's something new that I've learnt this year.
So literally when you're walking out and about, you should see more of everything. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it just sort of driving around and hedgerows and things is just loaded with, well, especially sloes. That's what I've noticed. Sloes and hawthorns this year.
What's a sloe?
A sloe?
Yeah, I don't know what a sloe is.
It's a little sort of black fruit. It's, I guess, slightly smaller than a grape.
Right.
Very sour. It's what they make sloe gin out of.
Right.
I mean, it's...
SLOE. That makes more sense now. Is it that type of sloe?
Yeah, sloe gin. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes more sense.
If you wanted to go foraging, there you go. But obviously, it's a bit of a survival technique, I guess, as well, because of the really drought summer that we've had. The trees know that they have to reproduce in case anything happens to the parent tree. So, yeah, they all synchronise at the same time, and that's why we have an abundance of natural fruits, berries and seeds.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, after the news, up until 12 o'clock, we're going to be talking about the most important thing, of course, which is grass, the lawns. That's coming up. I know we've been holding off just to keep my excitement going for the whole 2 hours, but also maintenance, and we'll be answering any more of your questions. So if you do have any questions for Laura, email studio@radiobath.com. We'll be back after the news.
As you promised me that I was more than all the miles combined, you must have had yourself a change of heart like halfway through the drive, because your voice trailed off exactly as you passed my exit sign. Kept on driving straight and left our future to the right. Now I am stuck between my anger and the blame that I can't face, and memories or something even smoking weed does not replace. And I am terrified of weather, cause I see you when it rains. Doc told me to travel, but there's COVID on the planes, and I love Vermont, but it's the season of the sticks.
Rhythm, you can feel it, people feel it. Rhythm, rhythm is a dancer. Rhythm, you can feel it, people feel it. Rhythm, rhythm is a dancer.
Needless to say, called Rhythm is a Dancer by Snap. It's Richard Beauvoisin here right until midday today. Laura Scott is my guest until midday today. I need to figure out a different way of saying midday today. I just say it a lot. It's one of those things, it's a repeat phrase of mine. I listen back and I go, I'm saying it a lot.
And we could probably sit here talking until at least 5.
We could, but Charlotte would get really upset because she's on afterwards. And I've also got to get my Thai massage done at 1, which is excruciating. But never mind, let's move on from that fact. Now, this is, people think that being on the radio is rock and roll all the time. They really do. However, I'm going to be eating cold risotto whilst driving. Not driving. I'll be parked in a lay-by, of course, because it would be dangerous to be doing that.
What type of risotto?
Well, I made it the other day, so it's just a normal risotto with some peas and sweet corn in. Nothing that exciting, if I'm honest with you. But
I made
nice.
No, it wasn't. Dot kindly gave us a butternut squash from her allotment.
Oh, very nice.
A few weeks back. So we made a butternut and sage risotto.
I've made that a few times. Really nice.
Very nice.
Have you done the bit where you can fry sage leaves in butter and then put that on top? Oh,
Yes.
So good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also I made, so obviously not working.
We'll get back
much
to
at the
gardening in a
moment.
minute, by the way, everyone.
I've been doing various bits of cooking, and I've been sort of looking up different recipes, etc. So I also made a chicken and mushroom stroganoff.
Okay.
And I did it in the slow cooker, which was really exciting because I absolutely hate when you have to have lots of pots and pans, lots of utensils, etc., then loads of washing up or the dishwasher's full up. So the fact that you can use the slow cooker, just bung everything in, leave it for 6 hours, and your tea's ready.
Amazing.
It's fantastic.
Have you ever done one-pot pasta? One pot pasta?
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. One pasta is one pot.
No. This is in. So you put the water into the pasta in with the pasta. You put the pasta in, but then you put actually all the ingredients in and cook it with the pasta at the same time.
Okay. Well, yeah. So like
goat's
your
cheese
broccoli and
everything goes in, and it all just comes out in one go.
Perfect.
Yeah, love that. Anyway,
Yeah.
should we get back to gardening?
Yeah,
Let's do that.
why not?
Now we're on to the most important part now of the day, in my opinion, which is of course grass and lawns.
Yes.
Now,
Although many people don't have much grass left after our summer.
that's what I'm going to say. I have never seen weeds in my garden. We have a firm come round 4 times a year, and
Yeah.
I've never seen weeds. My garden is full of weeds. My front garden, my front garden is really quite bare at the moment.
Is it? You've got a bare.
I've got a bare front garden at the moment.
I won't say a bare bush.
No, I shan't say that. You didn't say that either, honest. And there's big patches of nothing.
Yeah.
And I've never had that in all the years of looking after my garden. So my question, first of all, to you, Laura, is what should I do with my bare patches right now? Should I just leave them for the winter? Should I plant? Should I kind of do it in the winter?
So
What should I do?
if you were going to turf, then yes, I would say that you can still do that. Whilst it's the conditions are like this, I mean, it's so mild.
Yeah.
You know, we're, 12th of November?
13th.
13th.
It was the 12th yesterday.
I don't even know what day it is.
I
you
only
see.
know that because it was my
That's the trouble
birthday
when
yesterday.
you don't work.
It is. It was my birthday on the 12th, so that's the only reason I knew that it was the 13th today.
Okay.
So, anywho.
To seed now, because the light levels have changed and it is getting colder at night, you normally need about 10 degrees for seed to germinate.
Yeah.
So it's getting a bit late in the season now to overseed. Otherwise, I would have suggested scarifying the patches.
Remind everyone what scarifying is.
So if you were going to do it manually, you would get your wire rake. You would scrape the area to take off all the dead grass and thatch from the summer. I would normally arm myself with a bag of new topsoil just to sprinkle on top of the grass seed to stop the pigeons, and also so that they've got something to germinate into. But like I said, because of the light levels and it's getting a bit colder, I would, if you were wanting to do something at this side of Christmas, patch in with bits of turf.
Okay.
Realistically, the lawns start to look a bit shabby over the winter anyway, so you may as well wait until the better days of spring now. But again, similar situation. You can either scarify the individual patches and overseed, or you can get bits of turf, so cut out a square where the grass has died back, and then insert a new bit of turf, and then use some topsoil to fill in around the edges, and the old and the new should knit together.
Okay. So, yeah, because our front garden, obviously everybody passes our front garden, so I kind of want it looking better than it currently looks.
Yeah.
Now, my next question is the weeds that are currently there, it's just been treated a few days ago.
Yeah.
What should happen to those weeds? Are they likely to just completely disappear, or do I actually need to dig those weeds up?
Well, so my front lawn is the same.
Okay.
I went out there yesterday, and because my front garden is planted in a prairie style with lots of sort of self-seeders, they've all seeded in my lawn.
Okay.
So I've got fennel coming up, I've got gora coming up, calendulas, poppies. They've all self-seeded in the lawn. And I don't particularly want them in the lawn, although I am actually thinking next year I might do away with the grass and sow a clover lawn.
Right.
So that it's green, but it has the added benefit of being more beneficial for the bees.
Okay.
For the clover flowers, because I don't. The grass is bordered by perennial flowers. You don't really see the lawn anyway, or nobody sees it from the street. So I thought, why not make it just a designated wildlife area?
That sounds lovely.
My back garden is my my artist easel, should we say.
Your pride and joy.
Yeah, that's the bit that I titivate more with, as where my front garden is, that's nature.
So you're saying you look after your back garden more than your front garden then?
Yes.
Good.
Behave. I don't trim my front.
Do you not?
No.
No. Okay. But you're now just going to put...
The front is not manicured.
Okay.
But because, you've seen my house, because I'm raised
Yes.
up off of the road.
You are.
That was my...
So nobody sees your front garden, basically.
Nobody sees my front garden.
Good.
So,
Now, not only am I seeing weeds in my garden, and sorry, not sure I got the answer to, do I cut up the weeds or do I dig them up?
I do have a small kitchen knife that I do any perennial weeds that have got taproots, so like your dandelions. I do tend to dig those out because whilst you can put a weed and feed down, they are a bit persistent. So I give it a bit of a helping hand with digging them out with a small knife first and then putting the weed and feed down.
Fabulous. Now, something else that people are seeing in their gardens is mushrooms.
Yes, I have them in my garden.
Are these edible ones or?
No, no.
No. Okay.
I'm not knowledgeable enough in what is and what isn't. I leave that to the experts, but I would never eat a mushroom out of my garden. I've got mushrooms in my lawn at the moment. And I've also got a lot of worm activity. And I think that that's because I put an organic feed down, which has obviously gone into the soil, fed the soil, and is creating a lot of worm activity and organic matter that is feeding the fungi, and the mushroom is actually the top of the mushroom is the fruiting body of the fungi.
Okay.
So, but yes, I have them in my garden.
And what should we do with these mushrooms? Do we dig them up? Do we leave them?
I just tend to leave mine.
Okay.
I mean, I've only got like the little tiny ones. I did actually bring the RHS magazine on different types of mushrooms, but obviously because we haven't got pictorial.
No. We will do at some point, by the way, do a live feed for all of this so they can see us in action.
Oh God, I'm sure
talking
nobody
about
wants
our front
to see
bushes,
me on
but
screen.
Of course they will. It'll be fun.
But
Ben came in recently doing the AI, and he had his AI glasses on, and he did a live feed from his glasses.
You are?
Yeah. So his glasses, he can talk to his glasses like you would a phone.
Oh, good
and it plays podcasts and stuff via bone density or bone.
See, I'm not into AI. I don't think I agree with it.
That's fair enough.
I'd rather sit here and talk to you.
Yeah.
I know I've got my glasses on to see
you. Yeah. But he was broadcasting via his glasses. Yeah.
Yes.
But it was very bizarre because every time he moved his head, you see, which he does a lot, everybody was getting quite seasick because they were following him trying to watch the actual programme. So
I need Ben to convince me of AI, you see.
Do you? Okay. It has its place.
It does. And this year at the RHS Chelsea Flower Show, one of the quite renowned garden designers did an AI garden. And the AI element of it was the trees telling you whether they needed additional water or nutrients, which, yes, that's great. Yeah. But isn't it best to have that visual looking at your plant and thinking that's not looking quite right? Yeah. It looks sickly.
Well,
I don't know.
Who knows?
I'm a bit old school.
That's all right. You're allowed to be old school. Absolutely you are. Now, last part of this is... we've got now, at long last, our leaves are falling down off the trees.
Yes.
Okay, so I played Stick Season before the news, and therefore there's loads and loads of leaves on my grass. Should I just leave them there?
No.
Oh, what should I do with them then,
you
Laura?
need to rake them up because basically they will block light to the grass, and through the winter the grass still needs to photosynthesize. If you haven't already, I would suggest giving your lawn an autumn feed, which is high in potassium and phosphorus, which will help promote healthy and strong roots. What you don't want is to use your summer feed at this time of year, because summer feeds are full of nitrogen, which will put on a rush of green growth, sappy green growth on the lawn. And then if we get any hard frosts, it'll blacken it. So you need a specific autumn feed with those two nutrients, potassium and phosphorus, to strengthen the roots of the plants, which will see the lawn through winter. My lawn is, in the winter, when the light level changes and the clocks change, is mainly in shade.
Yeah.
And it gets quite thin, very wet. So now, from now, I can't really walk on my lawn. It's full of worm casts and it's quite stodgy after all the rain that we've had. So I try and avoid walking on the lawn, but I did pick up all my leaves yesterday.
Well done, you.
And I've composted them.
Well, do you know what? I've still got more lawn questions, which is not a surprise, is it? But it's time for some music. I've actually chosen the next track. I don't normally get to choose much of the music on my show. Now, I've chosen The Riddle by Nick Kershaw. Now, this is a song from, I think it's about 1984, 85, there or thereabouts. So 40
Do you know
years
Nick
old.
Kershaw?
I used to belong to his fan club, a little sad thing. I did actually try and get him on the show. I'm going to try again. Yeah, the sad thing is that this song was quite famous at the time. It's called The Riddle, and he never then told anybody what the riddle was. And then, I think about 10 years ago, he then did release that it was just a load of poppycock.
Oh.
I know. I've never been so disappointed in all of my life. I really haven't, but there we go.
The Nursery Hilperton, proud sponsor of the morning show. They have all you need.
I'll play the riddle in a minute.
And grow. Find out more at the-nursery.co.uk.
So there's nothing like pressing the wrong button twice. Which is why, rather than hearing the riddle, you got to hear the adverts. But we still got to hear it. Lovely. I will get Nick Kershaw in. We've just worked out he's 67 now, which is quite scary. I used to belong to his fan club, Laura.
Yeah.
I know. Quite weird, isn't it?
He was up there in my, music.
Yeah, it was him and Howard
listing.
Jones, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They were kind of battling against each other.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Oh God, menopausal moment.
Menopausal moment. Yeah.
Long hair, not
Yeah.
Pat Sharp.
I'm just going to let you struggle if you want. No,
right.
I'm not.
It'll come to me.
I'm not letting you struggle because I'm cruel. I'm letting you struggle because I actually don't know who you're talking about. But it'll come back to you. So what's going to happen now is we're going to chat for 10 minutes or so, and all of a sudden you're just going to shout out Marty Bello or something like that.
No.
But there we go. Anyway, your lovely other half, okay, Richard, he's just said, listening to you two phase, I don't think it means phase, but listening to you two talk this morning definitely has cheered me up.
Oh, good.
Which is nice. Has he been grumpy as well then, has he?
No, he's my rock.
He's your rock. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, he's, yeah.
Yeah, we all need a rock, don't we? We do
He's
need a
not
rock.
good in the mornings, though.
Is he not?
He had to make a phone call yesterday morning, and I was sat there listening, and it was like, you didn't actually ask what you were meant to ask. You just rambled.
Just rambled on. But there we go.
He needs about 3 coffees in the morning to...
I am very similar, yeah.
So that sort of took me on to the subject of all my podcasts I've been listening to about nutrition, etc. When you had Laura in and she was talking testosterone.
She was.
And I was surprised at how much testosterone affects women as well.
Okay. And what's your research been on that then?
Well, it's, as I was saying about, I've sort of felt quite happy just being at home on my own and losing this sort of social side of things. Apparently that can be testosterone.
Yeah.
So...
It can. And in fact, after chatting to Laura and speaking about testosterone, I went and had a full checkup, a full bloods checkup.
You did mention that.
And so I had everything checked from the whole lot. And it found out that my testosterone levels are fine, which is good. PSA levels were fine as well.
Yeah.
But I was just a smidgen away from being anemic. Which I didn't know, but that might have helped or realised while I was feeling tired all the time. So now having the wonderful world of iron tablets, they're fun.
Oh,
but
yes.
there we go.
Well, they make you constipated.
They're fun. Let's just go there. Anyway, back to gardening. Let's do gardening again. Do you know, it's important though, isn't it? People talk about it, and it's always important to talk about mental health.
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't be something we're scared about talking about. So
No.
and it's an okay
Not in
thing.
this day and age.
Not in this day and age, indeed. Right now, we were talking about gardening. We're talking about lawns.
Your lawn, your
and
favourite subject.
My favourite subject, and I still struggle quite a lot with moss. Now, my issue with moss is at this time of year, it's green.
Yes.
And I look out my garden.
And at least your grass
and it
is
looks green. If I now get rid of the moss, I've now got big bare patches, which I can't really replace, as we discussed before, unless I do turfing and all of that.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I don't have time to do that right now. So
No.
should I just leave the moss? Is it going to do much harm?
I've got moss in my lawn in the shady areas, and the only way you can eliminate it really is the process of the scarification, whether you do that through manual or mechanical terms, if you've got a little scarifier. But again, you're going to leave your bare patches.
Yeah.
Basically, the moss covers the soil, covers the grass so that it doesn't get any light, and then eventually the grass roots will die off, and then the moss tends to creep and take over. You can get a chemical product to put on, like an iron sulfate, which will blacken the moss and kill it off.
Okay.
There are other products, I think we've spoken about this on previous podcasts, more organic methods, which doesn't blacken it, it kills the moss, and as the moss dies, it feeds the soil.
Yeah.
So then you have a good base for overseeding in the spring, summer. But mainly the moss has obviously occurred because you've either got water dripping on the soil and you've got overshading plants and trees. So if that's the case, maybe try cutting back some of those plants and trees that are shading that lawn. I mean, it's like my garden. It's just purely because of the time of year. The sun's lower in the sky.
Yeah, and we've
Nothing
got big
I can do about it.
We've got big trees there and a fence in the way, so therefore the sun just doesn't get to that part of the garden at all at this time of year.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think we, as a nation, whilst lawns are lovely, we just focus. You can focus too much on the little things. You know, there's bigger things in life. If you've got a bit of moss, it's like, you know, saying about my front lawn, I've got so much clover in it. I was trying to be serious and professional then, and you've just ruined it.
I may have just ruined this. Nothing clover in your front lawn.
So I'm thinking of, I'm just going to turn it into a clover lawn. Now that would probably freak some people out.
It would see some.
Do you need me to take over whilst you have your
just carry on.
giggling fit?
Carry on, please.
So yes, you can get rid of your moss, but it's a natural phenomenon that happens.
Okay.
I've got it in my lawn, and if you speak to Richard, he'll say that I fuss too much about my lawn, but even I've sort of decided, well, do you know what? Also, if it's in its growing stage as well, if you rake off or scarify, you can be spreading the spores.
Right.
So, it's just...
Okay.
Doing it by hand is sometimes a bit better because you're not spreading it too far.
You can literally pick it up like a carpet sometimes, can't you?
Yes, if it's taken over too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try and get out to my lawn because at the moment it's very long. I haven't had a chance to cut it for quite some time.
It's been too wet, really. For I did was it last weekend? I did the last cut on my lawn, but just make sure you raise the blades on your mower by 1 notch because you don't want to cut it really short. Some people think, going into the winter, I'll cut it really short, but that's the worst thing that you can do,
right? Because
it's got no leaf blade to photosynthesize and strengthen through the winter. So you leave it a little bit longer, and if the tops do get blackened by any frost, then at least you can cut it in the spring and it's got healthy foliage underneath.
So leave your lawn slightly longer over the winter.
And don't forget, don't walk on it if we have a frost.
Why not, Laura?
Because you crush all the cells in the leaf blades, and that's when you get black footprints in the spring where you've killed off the grass. You've walked on it whilst it's been frozen.
What about if it's snowing? Is it okay to walk on it then? Because we all want to build a snowman.
Yeah, snow's doesn't necessarily mean that there's been a frost underneath, that the ground's frozen. But yeah, I mean, gosh, who doesn't want to walk in snow?
Absolutely. Got to do your little snow angel, haven't
Yeah,
you? But
yeah.
The weird thing is, I like it to snow between the 20th of December and the 27th of December.
When there's no dancing on.
That's it. Outside of that, it just affects business.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
in that period, I'm more than happy that 1 week a year I have off. Happy
It
for
can
it to
snow.
snow.
Yeah.
Outside of
And
that,
that's when we're probably least likely to have it
Pretty
now,
much.
because our seasons have moved. Winter now tends to be January, February, March,
yeah,
doesn't it?
it does.
So-
Indeed. So we're in November now. What else should we be doing in our garden to
Okay.
prep ourselves for the winter?
So much like Dot's question about her fig tree, if you grow agapanthus, and if you grow them in pots, you need to be, or any pots in general, you need to be lifting them off the ground. So if you have any bits, any bricks or anything that you can just, bits of decking board or something, just to lift them off of the ground, so that any winter rains that go through the pot have an opportunity to seep out the bottom, drain out the bottom. What you don't want is them sitting in soggy, wet soil that then, if we do get a bad frost, they're going to freeze and the roots will freeze. So lifting pots off of the ground. If you're into your alpine planting and you've got alpine bowls, make sure you put them under cover, out of any sort of anything dripping off of downpipes, guttering, that sort of thing. Alpines can withstand freezing temperatures, but they can't withstand wet and cold. That's what kills them off. So move them somewhere cool and dry. Collect your leaves off of the lawn, and if you've got roses and you've had any black spot this year, the leaves have probably dropped onto the soil. So from a hygiene point of view, and to stop any black spot reinfecting next year's leaves, foliage, clear them around the base of the plant, because otherwise they rot into the soil and then it all starts again like a vicious circle. Lift and protect dahlia tubers if you've been growing dahlias. Put those into a shed, wrap them in some newspaper, not in plastic because they'll sweat and then they'll rot. If you've got peonies, you'll probably notice that the foliage has turned yellow. They can be cut back now. They flower early in the season, and leaving the foliage on allows them to get as much photosynthesis as possible, and it stores all the energy in its tuber so that you get good flower next year.
Okay.
You could be planting, lifting and dividing perennials that have outgrown their space, and you can be digging those up, chopping them in half or even into quarters, and planting them in different places in your garden or giving them away to friends and family. Obviously, bulb planting.
Well, we're going to come on to bulb planting in the last part.
Okay, I shall
hold on to
back
that,
on
'cause
that one.
We're going to talk about lasagnas again.
Okay.
So that's lots and lots of things
Yeah.
that you can do there, isn't it? The
There's
key
things
thing
that
is,
you should be trimming down now at this time of year. So
what should you be trimming at this time of
trimming
year?
down your buddleias and your roses,
Right.
so that it prevents them from windrock. If we get any strong winds, where they've probably got quite top heavy through the summer, I would take them down by about a third,
Okay.
just so that they don't get caught in the winds
Brilliant.
over the winter.
Well, we've got one more section to come up with Laura. Charlotte's up at 12 o'clock. You may have just heard her guest may have turned up. Just a wild guess. We can always hear the
tones.
It's not that. We can always hear the bell. So that noise, that noise was the bell of the station. And we have to be able to hear in here, because if we're in here alone, then we have to know somebody's at the door. There's somebody at the door. Anyway, back with Laura right after this.
You're the one that I've been waiting for. Gotta quit this crying. Nobody's gonna heal me if I don't open the door. Kinda hard to believe. Gotta have faith in me. Freak out, freak out, freak out, freak out. Look at me. I get down, I get down, I get down.
for the last part now. It's Richard Beauvoisin here. Charlotte's up next. Going to be talking all about domestic abuse after 12 o'clock. So a really important topic to chat about for those 2 hours between 12 and 2. But we're now talking about gardening. Now we've gone into the winter period now to something. I suppose we're still in autumn, aren't we, officially?
Yes.
Yeah, we are still in autumn. But
doesn't feel cold enough to be classed as winter yet, does it?
no, it's November's still autumn for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, December, January, February is winter.
It's winter.
That's for me how I see the seasons in my very simplistic way that I do.
Yeah.
But I have out the back of on our decking, we have a number of pots.
Mm-hmm.
And during the summer, the mother-in-law comes around and they look great.
Yeah.
This time of year, they're just patches of mud.
Yes.
Is there anything I can do to make my pots look better?
There's plenty that you can do to make your pots look better, Richard.
Good. See, I stayed professional then and you went, so that's good. Please carry on.
So, other than the obvious, so you can prepare those pots for spring.
Okay,
with your
now you say
bulbs.
obvious.
Obvious to me, I suppose.
It's not obvious to me. I want something that doesn't just look like mud. Is there anything that can go in pot over the winter?
You can put stuff in now, so you can create winter pots. So this is becoming, or it is a thing. I guess if you're into gardening, it's not just about having summer pots anymore. You can have winter pots, and whilst it's not the bling of summer colour flowers, it's more about foliage, texture and movement. So I did just show you a picture out of my magazine.
Show me again, and I'll describe it for everybody.
It. So it's about movement from grasses, it's about stem colour from dogwoods, it's about having evergreen plants in there for structure.
Yeah.
You can have ferns.
So what we've got here is lots of different, as you say, ferns, which are kind of, I want to say leafy plants, that sounds terrible. But
Evergreen ferns.
Evergreen. There's kind of like white ones in here. There's, tall ones. There's thin leaves. There's lots of different types of stuff, which actually generates really nice image rather than it being a flower.
Yes.
So a leaf is still, to me, quite pretty.
Yeah. It's about texture and foliage in the winter.
So,
and also you can get plants that will not just see you through the winter, they'll take you through to the spring. So when you do a pot, you tend to have let's see if I can remember this right, a thriller, a spiller and a filler.
Okay.
So you have sort of, say your dogwood with the colourful red tall stems at the back. You could then match or marry that with a grass that has turned a lovely autumnal colour, and then you can put your filler would be a nice evergreen fern, and before you know it, you've sort of created a structural pot that will give you colour from the stems and movement. You can also take that a step further. If your pot's big enough, you can add some small shrubs. A lot of the sort of garden centres, nurseries, your B&Qs, you can buy sort of 9 centimetre pots now of little things like skimmias and gaultheria, which gets little red berries on it.
Okay.
Which they're the sort of size that they're temporary. You would use them then in the borders in the garden after the spring.
So you can grow them effectively in the pots.
You can put them in the
them
pot sort of through the winter and have them on your, outside your window, your window boxes, in your pots and containers, just to bring that garden towards where you're sitting in the winter if you can't get out into the garden. But there's skimmias, have a wonderful scent in the spring, about February, March time. And there's also another plant called sarcococca with its its common name is Christmas box.
Right.
Now, mine is just starting to bud up now, ready to flower in January. And it has got the most intoxicating scent that you often... The flowers are so insignificant, but you go out into the garden and you think, gosh, what's that perfume? And it'll be the Christmas box that's flowering. So you can add things like that into pots. So, like I said, you don't get the pizzazz that you get in the summer, but you get other elements for the senses, should we say. You get the...
That sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Going into my garden, it's smelling nice rather than just dead.
Yeah. Just as you walk
would be
through, you
great.
get a waft of something that smells lovely.
Which
and
is
then
much
obviously
better.
you've got your spring bulbs. We've already talked about bulb lasagnas.
We have, but for those that haven't listened before,
Yeah.
we spoke about a bulb lasagna. Now,
Yeah.
this is really exciting still. Is this still the right time of year to do a bulb lasagna?
Yeah,
Can you still just about do it?
So November is actually the best time to plant
Okay.
tulips and alliums.
So let's explain what a bulb lasagna is.
So if you don't have a garden and you only maybe have a doorstep, which is the only place you've got to grow somewhere in a pot, grow something in a pot, you can do a bulb lasagna, which is you would fill the pot sort of half full with compost. You would put your biggest bulbs at the bottom, so your alliums and then your tulips. So if you think of it as like layering a
Yeah.
meat lasagna or a vegetable lasagna, and as you go up the pot, your bulbs get smaller. So alliums, tulips, daffodils, crocus, mini iris, that sort of thing at the very top. And then for some instant colour, you can always fill the top with pansies or viola. So if you wanted a bit of colour at this time of year, some ferns, a little grass, and then a pack of, if you bought a pack of 6 of violas just for a hit of colour, and the bulbs will actually come up through that planting.
And it's the plan basically that one bulb will then replace another bulb
Yes.
will replace is that how it
Yes,
works?
Yeah. So the top ones will flower first, which is your crocus. Then you will get your daffodils or narcissi. Then you will get your tulips, and then you will get your alliums.
Now we were going to do this. We've got an enormous pot in
You've
our
got
back
a
garden.
Big wooden container, haven't you?
I don't know what it is, but it used to hold our bamboo
Mm-hmm.
in it, and it was a huge bamboo, and then all the bamboo kind of died off, and it's now just a weed pot basically. And it's just sat over on the far side now. We've moved it away from the house, and I did suggest doing a bulb lasagna in there to my lovely wife
Mm-hmm.
Zoe, but she said she wanted something more substantial in there,
Something
So-
more permanent.
something more permanent, something bigger. Something like that, yes. But I have no idea what that is. And we've been quite busy lately, so it's still a mud weed pot at the moment. But it looks pretty enough on the far side, just as a basic pot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So now's the right time to do bulbs,
You can
basically.
Yep.
And you
yep.
can do them across your garden as well, can't you? In
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah, or even if you do them in pots when they've gone over at the end of the season. So they'll obviously flower sort of end of February, March, April, going into May next year. You then lift them out of the pots. You can either store them or you can put them in your borders when the weather's better, if you can't get out onto your garden at the moment. And then you start again at the beginning of the year with doing your early summer pots.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, what else would be a good thing to be sowing at this time of year?
Oh, my favourite.
Go on.
Sweet peas.
Why are they your favourite?
Oh,
Laura?
I don't know. I think they just remind me of days gone by, and my gran always used to do sweet peas, and my auntie's dad, he always used to do sweet peas on his big garden. He was Potton. He used to live and had a very traditional garden with vegetable beds, and I just love the old romantic in me.
The old romantic in me, she says. So that's doing sweet peas. Is there anything you need to do particular for sweet peas then?
No, well, I mean, I've just grown mine in 9cm pots. I've done 4 seeds per pot. I didn't chit them. You're going to say, what's chitting?
See, now we've been together. We worked out that we've been doing this for 3 years now.
Yeah.
And you've now realised that I know nothing after all this time. And now you realise, what's chitting?
What's chitting? So they used to say that you can 2 ways to bring or ensure that your sweet pea seeds will germinate is chitting and soaking. So chitting is where you get a penknife and you would cut a little bit of the hard outer shell off and plant it that way. And obviously soaking is that you would soak the seeds overnight to soften the hard outer shell. I've never done that.
Okay.
I literally had some bit extra spare topsoil, filled some 9cm pots. I put 4 seeds in each corner, and they're already up about an inch tall.
Okay.
So that will give me sweet peas early next season.
So where are those pots at the moment then?
I have them in my unheated greenhouse.
Okay.
But they can be outside.
So even at this time of year, they'd be fine to be outside?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Peas and sweet peas, broad beans are about and the only things that you can sort of sow at this time of year because of the lower light levels. Obviously, from a vegetable point of view, onions, garlic, elephant garlic, that sort of thing. That's about the only thing that you can plant in your allotment.
Okay.
I'm sure there'll be other people out there. As I don't do a lot of veg gardening, Dot might disagree with me.
That's all right.
But yeah, I love the sweet peas because you can sow them now to get early sort of May, June flowers, and you can sow them again in January, February, even as late as March, which will give you sweet peas then all the way through to sort of July, August, maybe even September.
Wow,
So,
fabulous.
Yeah.
Now, we were mentioning leaves earlier and
Yes.
what to do with them.
Yes, once you've cleared them off your lawn.
Yeah, so what we did the other day, because we had the treatment coming for our lawn, so Zoe, because my shoulder was out of action, had to go out with the rake and
Yep.
just kind of get them all off. But then she was like, what do I do with them all? So what could we do with those leaves, Laura?
So you could either compost them, and if you don't have a compost bin, you can just put them into a black bag, poke some holes in the bottom so that any water can run out, and chuck them behind your shed.
Okay.
After about a year, 2 years, they would have rotted down, and that is just gardener's gold. Leaf mould is just fantastic for the garden,
Right.
as a nutrient base, as a feed. If you've got hedgehogs, if you know you've got hedgehogs in your garden, you can collect up any prunings and leaves and put it, if you've got a hedge or a corner of the garden, that you can just sort of shove it all in.
Yeah.
And obviously the hedgehogs will nest over winter in a pile of leaves.
Okay.
So yeah, that's from a wildlife point of view.
And I suppose mice and all of that type of stuff would be...
Mice, yeah.
So just kind of pile the leaves up in corners and it would be quite natural for
Yeah.
them, I suppose.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, as always, for coming in. Four
you're
times a
very
year you
welcome.
come in.
You know
Just-
I enjoy it.
Just remind everybody, if they wanted to get you for gardening consultancy, how they could do that.
Yeah, so they can contact me via Google Business, Better Borders Wiltshire, or I'm on Facebook, or obviously they can call my mobile 07503 088 225.
Fabulous. Now, earlier on, you mentioned about being a thriller, a stiller, and a
Not
whatever,
me.
whatever it was.
I'm certainly no
And
thriller.
and it reminded me of this song. It really did. The Joker.
Yes.
You see? Charlotte's up next. I'm back next week between 10 and 12. Have a great week.
Call me the gangster of love. Some people call me Maurice, 'cause I speak of the pompatus of love.